Hi, I thought we'd start the camera because we're on a road trip and we're headed from Sydney to Melbourne because so many people have asked about the fires in Sydney and if we're okay, like hundreds of messages, and thank you for asking, but we were okay in Sydney. We're not getting out of Sydney because of the fire danger. In fact, there basically is no fire danger in Sydney. There are no fires in Sydney because, if you don't know, geographically, Sydney is like a big 50-kilometre diameter basin. And as I said, there are no fires. It's surrounded by the Blue Mountains in the west and up and down the coast, and that's where all the fires are. And but because Sydney's a basin, all the smoke actually collects in Sydney. So the biggest problem we've had in Sydney is the smoke, not the fires. So we're just driving out of Albury at the moment, which is about over 500 kilometres southwest of Sydney, sort of over halfway between Sydney and Melbourne. And so we're driving on our way to Melbourne, and we're just on the M31 freeway at the moment. There's a few trucks, so could be a bit congested. But anyway, so we've driven over 500 kilometres in the last day, and this is the smoke that you can see. It has been this smoky all the way for 500 kilometres from Sydney. I am not joking. We have not seen blue sky. It wasn't even blue sky in Sydney when we left, really. So it's just been smoke all the way. So for 500 kilometres, hopefully that gives you a indication of how widespread these fires are. It's just insane. And there's no fires near here. They're actually east of here, by quite a significant distance. So we're nowhere near the fires. But for 500 kilometres, we've just had constant smoke, just like this. And it's just been insane. So a lot of people talk about the magnitude of the fires, and I can't say definitively because I haven't checked the data or anything. But this one, I think, is probably the largest scale one that we've had. I'm not sure if it's on record, but it's certainly the largest one I can remember in terms of sheer area burned. Is it 9 million acres, Mrs. EV Blog?
No, much more, I think.
It was more, was it? Anyway, it was...
sorry, Daddy.
That's Sagan in the back seat. 900... anyway, it's huge. I think it's like an order of magnitude bigger than the California fires, for example, for those over there who are familiar with that. There is, I think it's an order of magnitude bigger in terms of sheer area burned and things like that. And I've been, for example, up in the Blue Mountains and the Wallamai National Park and all the parks west of Sydney. I've been up there doing various canyons for 20 years, and we've had probably 5 major fires in the last several decades up there, and I've never seen one that is like of this scale. We've had like real major ones up there that have burnt tons of canyons, but this is the first time I can remember that a fire has burnt literally almost practically every canyon up there, bar 1 or 2, Empress and Grand Canyon. Basically everything else up there is just completely totaled. So the sheer scale of this thing is just enormous. That's just up in the mountains, but there's fires in Victoria as well, down on the bottom coast just the other night. Like there's people had to evacuate to the beaches and stuff like that. It's just insane. We're getting reports on the radio here. The emergency reports come through on the radio telling people to evacuate and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just the sheer scale of it is quite amazing. So I'm not sure if it's the biggest we've ever had in Australia, because Australia gets lots of fires. Like every 5 years we'll have a major fire up the mountains or something like that. It's been, I can't remember when was the last one.
2004 was big.
2004 was big, yep.
Can't remember in between now and then.
No. But in terms of casualties, number of the deaths, the Victorian fires from '97, I think, which is the Black Saturday fires as they call them, they were, I think it was 170 dead. They were really bad. So in terms of death toll, this one's not as bad in that respect, but I believe this is a much bigger scale fire, and it's still just raging all over mostly coastal New South Wales is just getting totaled. Everything everywhere is just like the entire Blue Mountains almost is toast, really. But it doesn't mean like there's no major towns up there on the Great Western Highway, for example. They haven't been hit yet. I think it's mostly controlled up there, but up and down the New South Wales coast now, particularly down, is like really bad. They're getting uncontrolled again, and it's just insane, the scale and magnitude of the fires here. So anyway, we've been driving for 500 kilometers and we have not seen blue sky once. It is this smoky all the way. In fact, it's not too bad at the moment. It's probably okay. It's like you step outside and it starts, like you're breathing it in. It's terrible. You can't stay outside for long at all. It's just awful. So yeah, and that's for 500 kilometers. That's only down the coast. That's not up the coast as well. And a lot of the access roads are closed and things like that. So a lot of holiday goers up and down the coast have been stranded and whatnot. And we were actually lucky to get through from Sydney to Melbourne, because it did actually close just the other night. A section of the M31 highway, which is the main road between Sydney and Melbourne. But no, it thankfully it opened back up. But yeah, it's just nuts. So just wanted to give you at least a little look. Even though we're nowhere near the fires, the smoke is just it's infected every single town, every single place for 500 kilometres, right down the highway from Sydney to Melbourne. The other locations are just as bad or worse. It's awful. Just never ends. So I think there's smoke in Melbourne too, is there? Not sure yet, but we're going to get smoke for the rest of our drive, I think, from Sydney to Melbourne. So
we're going to Tasmania though.
Thanks.
So we're escaping the smoke.
Thanks, Sagan. And so there you go. Just wanted to give you a look at that. And maximum displayed speed 117. What? That's oddball. What? 117. Our maximum, if you're not aware, our maximum speed limit here is 110. There are one or two roads in the Northern Territory where there are unlimited speeds. Technically, it was. Oh, okay. Here we go. That's a speed indicator. It's just telling us how fast we're going. Measures our speed for us. And Logic Centre. The Logic Centre.
Logic Centre?
I have no idea what the Logic Centre is. Anyway, the Alpine Road there, you probably saw a thing to that. That's Thredbo. One of the rare snow regions in Australia. One of the snowy mountains. The ski resort. They've just ordered everyone to evacuate Thredbo, which is our major one of the major ski resorts down there. So they're saying if you don't get out by today, you won't be able to get out. So yeah, it's not good. That's all right, Huxley. That's a little huckster in the back seat as well.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're headed from Sydney to Melbourne. So the fires won't affect us, and everyone okays in Sydney apart from the smoke, which is just really bad. And well, you know, a lot of people saying, oh, it's just climate change that's caused it. Well, there's lots of reasons that are causing it, and which we won't go into. A lot of political reasons as well, and our government's not doing that great at the moment in terms of dealing with this. So yeah. Anyway, that's for another video, maybe politics video, but no, I won't go into it. Anyway, yeah, we're just driving through the smoke. It's pretty clear at the moment. Hopefully it's not going to seep into the car. It seeped in a little bit before, but I think it's okay now. anyway, there you go. Just wanted to give you a look at that. So thanks everyone for your concern. But yep, we're doing okay, at least in Sydney, and we'll eventually make it to Melbourne through the smoke. So yeah, like sometimes you can't see like 100 meters in front of you. It's just nuts.
I can't see 1 meter in front of me.
1 meter?
No, just kidding. I
Yeah.
can't see 10 meters in front of me.
You're okay, so.
I'm good.
Anyway, yeah, it's not. Oh, how many k's to Melbourne?
289.
289 k's left to Melbourne. So.
I can't take it.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
No.
Anyway, yeah, we'll just keep driving and yeah, get out as little as possible. That's the plan anyway. But yeah, thanks everyone for your concern. And we'll catch you next time.